I want you to imagine yourself sitting in a quiet coffee shop. Your cup of coffee has been sitting cold for a while and you still can't bring yourself to stand up. Not because the chair is comfy, but because something is stuck in your chest. A heaviness that's hard to name. You look out the window and suddenly realize, I don't feel like myself anymore. If that picture feels familiar, this talk is for you. I'm a relationship psychologist who's worked for years with adults aged 25 to 40. I've heard stories like yours, small compromises that quietly become habits until you can't find the edges of yourself. Today, I want to guide you through 12 signs that you're disappearing in love and what you can do to come back to yourself. 1. When love asks you to disappear. A client once told me, I don't know when I stopped laughing. I was just trying to make him happy, to keep things calm. Have you ever been there? You start saying no to plans with friends. You stop mentioning things you love. You learn to speak softer, to smile just enough, not to rock the boat. We often call that sacrifice, but many times it's self-erasure. Biologically, when you constantly adjust to avoid upsetting someone, your nervous system stays on alert. You live in a low-level danger state. Cortisol rises and your emotional freedom gets compressed. Love should expand you, not shrink you. Ask yourself, with this person, am I still me? If you hesitate to answer, that's your cue to pause and look closer. 2. Boundaries are a map, not a wall. You might have said clearly, please don't read my phone, or I need some quiet after work, but they keep doing it. At first, it might feel accidental. Repeated behavior becomes testing. People tend to push a little further to see what's possible. If you stay silent, they register safety to continue. Boundaries aren't walls to keep love out. They are maps that show where both people should stop so love doesn't turn into possession. When you say, I need space, someone who respects you will say, I also love the parts of you that are independent. Next time a boundary is crossed, you don't have to shout. Calmly say, we already talked about this. I won't accept it happening again. Consistency matters more than volume. 3. When you become the relationship's emotional nurse. Do you ever apologize just to end the tension, even when you're not at fault? A 29-year-old client said, every time he's mad, I text apologies nonstop. If I don't, he'll be silent for a week. She thought she was saving the relationship. What she was doing was burning out under the guise of care. This pattern often reflects anxious attachment chasing avoidant attachment. One person presses for reassurance while the other withdraws. You can't be the pair of lungs keeping a punctured balloon inflated forever. Ask yourself, when I'm tired, is there someone who soothes me the way I soothe them? If the answer is no, know that love shouldn't require you to be a full-time therapist. Love needs reciprocity. 4. When the body knows before the mind does. Have you ever walked into the room and instinctively held your breath? There's no argument, no words, only a tightened chest, a knot in your stomach. That's not imagination. The body collects thousands of small observations, looks, tones, silences, and at some point, your amygdala rings the alarm before your thinking brain catches up. Intuition is not mystical. It's the summary of countless micro-moments you've stored in your body. If your body doesn't feel safe, don't quiet it. Ask, why do I feel tight when they come home? What patterns am I noticing? Listen first, judge later. You don't need to leave today, but don't turn off the smoke alarm just because you don't see the fire yet. 5. When conflict becomes a weapon, not a bridge. Every couple argues, that's true. But if, whenever you say, this hurts me, you're met with yelling, cold silence, or, if you don't like it, leave, that's punishment, not conflict. Your brain learns fast. Speaking honestly equals danger. After a few rounds, you stop choosing silence as maturity. You are silenced out of fear. I ask clients, after a difficult talk, do you feel lighter or drained? If it's usually drained, the problem isn't communication technique. It's the emotional safety of the relationship. Listening is not surrender. Listening is respect. And respect is the skeleton of love. A client once told me, I don't know when I stopped laughing. I just try to keep him happy, keep things calm. Familiar? When someone starts shrinking themselves to keep the peace, that is not love. That is self-erasure. You stop doing what once made you happy. You turn down friends' invitations. You learn to stay quiet when you disagree. You call it sacrifice, but what is really happening is the loss of your own voice. 7. When trust cracks. Trust is an unwritten contract made of small repeats. Say it, do it. When lies recur around core issues, money, time, who they were with, the relationship doesn't just tear, it loses its frame. The cruel part is not the lie itself, but the calmness with which it's delivered. You can forgive, but if behaviors don't change, what's rebuilt is only a thin veneer. And living like a detective, checking, doubting, bracing, is not love. It's constant vigilance. No one can love deeply while in fight or flight. 8. When you love who they could be, not who they are. Be honest. Are you staying because you believe they'll change? Do you believe your love will make them better? If so, you're loving a possibility, not the person in front of you. The brain resists cognitive dissonance, so it bends feelings to match hope. Rare, warm moments are powerful enough to erase months of hurt. But love is not venture capital. It yields returns when the other person chooses to change, not when you keep investing hope. Ask, if nothing ever changed, could I live with who they are now? If the answer is no, you don't need more evidence. 9. When silence is neglect, not peace. I hear this a lot. People think, no fights means peace. Number. Extended silence can be neglect. Love is a continuous collaboration. You both touch the crack, own the hurt, take responsibility. No relationship stands when one person is doing all the work and the other stands by. Ask, does he not understand, or does he understand and choose not to act? The difference between not knowing and not wanting is the line between hope and reality. If conversations always end with, later, I'm tired, or a wall of silence, you are in emotional exhaustion disguised as calm. 10. When gaslighting makes you doubt yourself. You say, what you said hurt me, and they reply, you're too sensitive, I was only joking. The first time you wonder. The 10th time you start doubting your memory and feelings. That's gaslighting. Subtle distortion of reality that makes you question your own mind. Try this test. If your best friend told the same story, would you say, they're too sensitive? Most people cry at that question. They still trust others, but not themselves. Repeated invalidation rewires memory to avoid inner conflict. Don't apologize for what isn't your fault. Love isn't a place where you must shrink your emotions to be accepted. A partner who loves you will say, I didn't mean to hurt you. Help me understand so I don't do it again. 11. When just us becomes isolation. At first, it sounds romantic. I just want to be close to you. Over time, you see fewer friends, call home less, postpone invitations. One day you look around and there's only one person left, and that person is also your cage. This is intentional isolation. Nobody locks the door, they coax you inside. Every time you want to leave, a guilt trip pulls you back. Don't you want to be with me? When your world narrows to one source of validation, you lose the ability to tell what's normal and what's not. Healthy love broadens your life. A partner wants you to have friends, family, passions. If your calendar is almost empty of other people, ask, is this my choice or am I being led here? That question is often the first key. 12. When intimacy becomes control. Sometimes affection, I love you, or a hug is used as leverage. Warmth becomes the reward for good behavior. Coldness is punishment for bad choices. This is emotional bargaining. A client told me, He's warm when things go his way. I voice disagreement and he's icy for a week. At first, it's rationalized. He's tired, he needs space. Over time, space becomes a punishment. You read faces, guess words, pre-apologize to avoid losing closeness. Each time, you get smaller. Psychology calls this behavioral reinforcement. They dole out emotional reward when you comply and withdraw it when you don't. Your brain links safety to pleasing them. Result? Eroded self-worth. Real intimacy is not conditional. You deserve closeness because you are you, not because you earned it by obedience. A pause. Mapping your way back. If you recognize yourself in some of these stories, do not blame yourself. You did the best you could with the tools you had while you were afraid. The issue isn't weakness. It's that the emotional environment isn't safe. Your body has been trying to protect you. So what now? I'm not offering a magic 10-step fix. I'm suggesting a rhythm of small beats, actions your brain and body can actually follow. Beat 1. Name it. Write it down very specifically. What have I lost? Maybe it's laughter, a monthly dinner with a friend, a painting you left unfinished, or the ease of saying no. Be concrete. Beat 2. Do the smallest thing to reclaim it. Play an old playlist. Have dinner with the friend who makes you laugh. Take a 20-minute walk without reporting your schedule. Small acts send a strong signal. I'm still here. Beat 3. One-sentence boundaries, one calm tone. No long lectures. My phone is private. I won't continue a conversation if there's yelling. Consistency beats volume every time. Beat 4. Safety network. Call a trusted friend. You don't need to spill every detail, just say, I need you to listen. Another person's witness helps you re-see yourself. Beat 5. The hard question. If they never change, can I live with who they are now? If the answer is no, you have direction. Beat 6. A safe exit plan if needed. For controlling, isolating, punishing, or abusive relationships, emotional or physical, make a practical plan. Finances, temporary housing, emergency contacts, personal therapy. A plan is a handle on the door. Returning to your whole self. Imagine that coffee shop again. This time, your cup is freshly poured. Warmth spreads through your fingertips. Outside, life goes on. Inside, you say a very small, very real sentence. I will not disappear to be loved. This week, try one small thing you used to love. Play that old playlist. Call a friend who knows you without explanations. Or say no when your heart quietly shakes its head. Small actions won't fix everything, but they will open a path. The path back to your whole self. Laughter, conviction, mistakes, passion. And if someone can't accept the whole version of you, remember, sometimes losing someone is the way you find yourself again. True love does not shrink you. True love makes you bigger. Bigger for the world, for others, and for your own heart. Final guidance and next steps. If you recognized yourself in any of these 12 signs, start with one tiny action this week. Write down one thing you'll reclaim. Call a friend. Set a one-sentence boundary. If you feel overwhelmed, consider a therapist or a trusted guide to build a plan with you. You don't have to do this alone. If you want, leave a comment. What small thing will you start this week? I'll read them, and if you like, I'll share a short exercise to practice boundaries and listening to your body. Thank you for spending time here. I'll see you in the next conversation, where we'll talk about the art of saying no while still staying loving. If you have a story to share, I honor it. Every story I hear is evidence of someone finding their way home to themselves.